welcome back to Mouthing Off with Mike Wrestling Podcast. Now, if you've been a fan of the show up to this point, you know that I've been audio only. I made that announcement about a week ago that we are going to transition into some YouTube, some video podcast, and that is exactly what we are doing here today with this episode of the show. Now, if you're listening to the audio only, you'll still be able to find that on Spotify, Apple, Google, everywhere and anywhere you listen to audio podcasts. But if you're a fan of video podcasts and you want to actually watch and see the match card and see the graphics here pop up, then don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And that's MOWM_wrestling podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to like this video. And in the comments here, tell me which match you're excited for NXT No Mercy, because that's what we're talking about today. We are talking NXT No Mercy. I'm going to give you my predictions, and we're going to get into the match card a little bit in depth into some of the matches, and we'll just touch on some of the other matches where I'll just give you my picks, and we'll move on to the next match. But I will say, on paper, at the moment, this NXT No Mercy card, chef's kiss, it is looking fire. It is looking real good, in the words of the WWE Hall of Famer, Booker T. So don't go anywhere. You're watching and you're listening to Mouthing Off with Mike, No Mercy prediction. All right, you heard the intro. The first match that we are going to cover here for the NXT No Mercy predictions on Mouthing Off with Mike Wrestling Podcast is going to be a match that was recently announced Friday afternoon. And I'm assuming, you know what they say about assuming, right? I'm assuming this match probably see it take place on the kickoff show for No Mercy. And that's going to see Kalani Jordan take on Blair Davenport. Now listen, this came out of nowhere, but this is in due in part to some of the interactions that we have seen over the last couple weeks with Blair Davenport, Kalani Jordan, and recently released WWE superstar Dana Brooke. Now, we knew at the time Dana Brooke was the protege to Kalani Jordan. She took her under her wing and was showing her the ropes. And we were really starting to get into the Dana Brooke character a little bit more on NXT. Unfortunately, we are not going to get to see that anymore, but that is okay because NXT newcomer and rookie on the block, Kalani Jordan, is going to be in her first premium live event match for NXT. So this is an awesome position for her. Clearly, the powers that be see her as a top women's talent on NXT, and she's mixing it up with a top talent on the NXT women's roster with Blair Davenport. Now, for me, this match, I got to give the edge to Blair Davenport. That's going to be my pick to win this match. But I think this is going to be a really good match, no matter where they place it on the NXT No Mercy card. If it is on the kickoff or if it is on the main card, I still think it's going to be a really solid match, and it's going to be a great match to showcase both women's in-ring work. The next match here on the NXT No Mercy card that I want to take a look at here is going to be a hard-hitting affair, I think. And that's going to see Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker battle it out here. Now, these two have, for a couple weeks now, been mixing it up. Baron Corbin, in my opinion, kind of got in the head of Braun Breaker a couple weeks ago when he essentially took the steel steps and crushed Von Wagner's head. So we haven't seen Von since that interaction with Braun, but in part to this, we're going to see Baron Corbin versus Braun Breaker. Now, I have to be honest here with the trajectory of Braun Breaker's career, and you can tell that there is something there with him, and you can tell that Shawn Michaels and the NXT creative team, the NXT powers that be, and of course, the main roster powers that be, when the time comes, he's going to be a big deal. This match, though, is a sleeper on the card. When you have matches like Carmelo Hayes taking on Ilya Dragunov, you've got Tiffany Stratton and Becky Lynch in an Extreme Rules match. This match is one of those matches where I think it's going to be hard-hitting, brutal, and I think Braun Breaker's going to get the win here. But I think Baron Corbin coming back down to NXT has been fantastic. Love his new presentation. Love the new theme song. I like everything that we have been seeing with Corbin since returning to NXT. I'm excited for this match, and I really truthfully think this could be one of those matches on the card that could creep up on you and be like, you know what? That was a damn good match. So my pick, Braun Breaker. The next match here on the NXT No Mercy card that I want to take a look at, and it's one of my most anticipated matches here on the card, just because it's got my fellow Italian brethren, the family, defending those beautiful NXT tag team titles in a fatal four-way match against the Creed brothers, Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza, newcomers on the block, the NXT out the mud, Lucian Price and Bronco Nima. Now, this is going to be a really good fatal four-way tag team match. Now, truthfully, I'm biased here. You already know who I'm picking. I'm picking my Italian brethren, the Don, Tony D'Angelo, the underboss, Stacks. I'm picking the family to retain those beautiful gold belts and keeping those bad boys in the family and around their waist. Ladies and gentlemen, take the titles, take the cannolis, take it all. The family's retaining those titles at NXT No Mercy in that tag team fatal four-way. In one of the newer concept matches to NXT over the last couple months, we brought it back from NXT UK, that being the Heritage Cup. Now, over the last couple weeks, we had the NXT Heritage Cup tournament, and we saw a lot of talented wrestlers honor their country in this tournament. And we are now here at the end of it. The winner of the tournament was Butch. And Butch is going to take on Noam Dar at NXT No Mercy for the NXT Heritage Cup with the Metaphor group in Noam Dar's corner and fellow British Strong Style member Tyler Bate in Butch's corner. Now listen, the Heritage Cup format originally, a lot of people, took a little time to get, accustomed to it. But since they have really fleshed it out, NXT, and I have to say Shawn Michaels gets a big props, the creative team gets a big props for this because, on paper, when it comes to wrestling and what wrestling fans are used to, this is something a little bit different. And obviously, if you watch NXT UK from a couple years ago, you're familiar with it, like myself, and if you're, a real diehard wrestling fan, you kind of already knew what the format for those matches were. Now, if you weren't and you never really caught NXT UK and this was your first time experiencing the Heritage Cup over these last couple months, then good on you because this has been awesome. We have had so many awesome, high-octane, electrifying matches with the Heritage Cup that I'm all in on this. I think the Heritage Cup should be a staple for NXT for the foreseeable future. With this match in particular, I have a feeling the Metaphor group is going to get involved here. There's going to be a ton of shenanigans ringside. The Metaphor group is going to do everything in their power to ensure that the main man, Noam Dar of the group, retains his Heritage Cup. So I got to give it to Noam Dar here, that he's going to retain his Heritage Cup, but I think him and Butch are going to have themselves a banger. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are talking the NXT No Mercy card. We've only got 3 matches left here to discuss. The first of those 3 is going to be for the NXT North American Championship. And that's going to see Dirty Dom Mysterio defend his title against Trick Williams with special guest referee Dragon Lee. Now, from a few weeks ago, this match was originally slated to be Dirty Dom versus Mustafa Ali. Now, unfortunately, and this is something that I could probably spend 10 minutes alone discussing, unfortunately, Mustafa Ali was released by WWE, as well with Dana Brooke, and there was a few other talents included in that. I'm not getting into that here in this video. It is a very unfortunate part of business, especially the wrestling business. But with that being said, I was very much so looking forward to Mustafa Ali taking on Dirty Dom for their NXT North American Championship. Now, because of this, there were some changes made. Now, last Tuesday on NXT, we saw a fatal 4-way that was going to determine a new number 1 contender for Dirty Dom's North American Championship. Now, the match was originally slated to be a triple threat match, but Trick Williams, after an impassioned promo talking with his good brother, Carmelo Hayes, he decided to go ahead and talk to Shawn Michaels in his office and asked to be added to the triple threat, making it a fatal 4-way. Now, with a very unique finish to the match, we see Trick Williams win it and now he's going to take on Dirty Dom at No Mercy. Now, of course, not a big fan of Mustafa Ali getting released, but when it comes to the No Mercy card, we have to move on, right? Trick Williams getting a shot for the NXT North American title is huge. And with the fan reaction that we have been getting week in and week out, since him and Melo have kind of taken a little bit of a pause, with their partnership, friendship, they're still good friends, but clearly Trick wants to go do things for himself and be his own man. Referenced by his promo he said a couple weeks ago. Trick is going to be a superstar for WWE. The crowd is chanting, "Whoop that Trick, whoop that Trick." When he makes his entrance, when he's wrestling, it started to bleed over into other wrestling companies. So I love it. I absolutely love Trick Williams. I think he's going to be a massive star for WWE, for NXT, and I am going to pick with my heart here. I'm picking Trick Williams to beat that Dirty Dom Mysterio and finally bring some prestige back to that NXT North American Championship. Hey, we are powering through the NXT No Mercy card. We've got the 2 last matches here on the card announced. The first one that I want to take a look at is going to be him. The NXT champion, Carmelo Hayes, will be defending his title against Ilya Dragunov for the second time. Now, the last time these two took off and faced each other, we saw that match happen at the Great American Bash. There was a little bit of a gray area there in the finish where it kind of looked like Ilya headbutted Trick when he was holding the title, which in turn helped Melo retain his title at the time. Now, over the last couple weeks, Ilya's kind of worked his way back to Melo. Now, those two are on a crash course for No Mercy. Now, listen, if this second match is anything like the first one, then banger. It's going to be a banger. Whatever you want to fill in. A 5-star clinic, if you're a star purveyor, if you're more of like me where I give it the old, Italian hands, then this is going to fulfill, everything and anything you want out of a championship match. And that's not to discredit any of the other matches on this card because, like I've said multiple times throughout this video, this card is fire. Like, I am very excited for No Mercy. I cannot wait to sit down and see every one of these matches play out, see where the stories go, how we advance, where we're going from here. But discussing Melo and Ilya as a whole, these two are some of the brightest, most athletic, talented, unique wrestlers that they've got in NXT, that we've got in WWE, period. Ilya Dragunov is so hard-hitting, and it is so believable that sometimes I cringe a little bit. He's so good, and his promos are impassioned, and you can feel his passion through the screen, through the mic. He's that good. You know that this match is going to be one of those matches that could be talked about in Match of the Year for 2023. Now, speaking about Melo, Carmelo Hayes is one of my favorites in NXT. He's one of my favorites in WWE. He's one of my favorites in professional wrestling right now. Carmelo Hayes is talent. He has it. From when I first saw him break into the NXT, wins the breakout tournament a few years ago, he immediately makes a statement against Adam Cole at the time in NXT. I knew from that very moment that Carmelo Hayes, he's going to be something. And sure as the sky is blue and the grass is green, that man, Carmelo Hayes, he is something. And he has been carrying NXT for quite some time now. His matches with Braun, his matches with Ilya, this match particular, it's tough for me to tell you who's going to win. I can't bet against Carmelo Hayes. But man, I can't sleep on Ilya Dragunov here either. But if I got to pick, I'm going with him. I'm picking the NXT champion to retain his title against Ilya Dragunov, that being Carmelo Hayes. We made it, ladies and gentlemen. The match that I believe should main event No Mercy is going to be Becky Lynch defending her NXT Women's Championship against Tiffy Time Tiffany Stratton, the resident Barbie of NXT. Now, this match came to be. Becky was going to give Tiffany her rematch, but after a match here on NXT, Tiffany took a steel chair to Becky, which in turn Becky had challenged Tiffany to an Extreme Rules match for the NXT Women's Championship. Now, their first match, Becky and Tiffany's, was very, very good. And it proved the point that Tiffany Stratton is going to be a star in the women's division for WWE. She has it. She has the aura, she's got the vibe, and clearly going against a veteran in the ring like Becky Lynch, she went toe-to-toe, move for move with her. You know, are there things that you could polish off? Sure. That's what NXT is, technically developmental. So she's where she needs to be right now. But man, is it awesome to see her mixing it up with Becky, because that's just adding to her. That's just adding to her stock. And it just keeps rising and rising, where I think she's probably one of the superstars that is probably slated to hit the main roster maybe next year, early next year. Rumble time, we'll see. But I think this match is going to be really good. But I do believe the man, Becky Lynch, will retain her NXT Women's Championship. Now, we do know that former AEW superstar, wrestler, Jade Cargill has signed to WWE. And we recently saw on Friday Night SmackDown a beautiful video package that they put together, hyping all of the social media views that she got and all of that. So they already believe that Jade Cargill is going to be a superstar. And rightfully so, she is. What I would love to see happen here at NXT No Mercy was I would love to see Jade make an impact at NXT. Wouldn't it be awesome if Jade, maybe already coming into the company, got inserted into Becky, the NXT title situation? Could that be something that they're working out? Obviously, a lot of the reports and the things that I've been seeing across, the internet wrestling community, and that doesn't even exist. It's not real. But the things that I've seen, with the journalism and the dirt sheets and the so and the so on, was that, Jade was poised for the main roster, when she kind of figured in the gaps, and kind of learned the WWE style. I would love to see her show up in NXT, and I would love to see her show up at No Mercy. I think that'd be a great position, even if she might just be in the crowd. I think that'd be also a fitting touch, just to show how big of a signing this is for WWE and how big of a superstar she is going to be, and she currently is. But that doesn't happen, and I'm fantasy booking here. I still think Becky's going to retain the title, and I think Becky and Tiffany should main event NXT No Mercy, but it could be a coin flip with them and Mello and Ilya. Both of those matches rightfully deserve the main event. It's all going to be about who's going to go on last at that point. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching Mouthing Off with Mike Wrestling Podcast and my picks for NXT No Mercy. If you listen to the audio only, thank you for listening. Don't forget to comment the match you're most excited about for NXT No Mercy, or give me your picks. I want to see if we're the same, if we differ in any way, or if you think something crazy might go down at NXT No Mercy. You never know with NXT. Thank you guys so much. We will be back tomorrow with my Wrestle Dream predictions, as well as the NXT No Mercy recap, where I'm going to go ahead and join one of my good brothers is going to join me here on the show, and we're going to talk about what we thought about NXT No Mercy. So keep an eye out. Make sure you subscribe, like this video, and like I said, comment. Tell me what match you're looking forward to. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Mouthing Off with Mike. Don't forget to go out there and enjoy some good old pro wrestling this weekend. Mouthing Off with Mike.